Hey, so that's a special episode. That is not a transit, and it's not even a complete thought of sorts. It's just me. I want to experiment with self therapy. So having you listen to me express myself. If it's half coherent, I will post it, and if it's not, then I'll just write it off as an experiment. So yes, a lot of self judgment this week. I just wanted to speak about that and see if my mental projectiveness speak will unearth any kind of insights for me to use. Um, I described in a little more detail in the previous video on the GT5 transit, the big download I got this week about my body of work. Finally, something that feels unique to me, my lived experience, um, something that I live day in, day out that I feel excited to share. And then it all came through, but then I wasn't really doing it. Like I was telling people that it came through, but I wasn't putting it into words, into web pages. I wasn't bringing it out as I was envisaging. The whole thing was there, like, but I wasn't bringing it into form, so to speak. And I talked some of the reasons why I discussed in the previous video. I'll link to it at the end. You can get the fuller picture. But this one specifically, I wanted to speak about. One of the things that came through this week was after many years of not playing computer games, suddenly I had this really strong urge to play. I don't know if it was connected with just so much transformation going on and then a work backlog, so I was just maybe overwhelmed. And it's just my way of disconnecting, distracting, disconnecting, forgetting. And so I downloaded one of my favorite games, Elder Scrolls Online. If anybody's playing, I'd like to. I was even thinking, oh, maybe I can start a spiritual guild in there, and then it won't be so bad. But see, this self-judgment. Basically, the self-judgment is around playing. Why aren't I doing my purpose-driven work, and why aren't I implementing this that came through? I'm so excited about it. Why am I just vegging out and disconnecting for the first time in many years? Why? Bad. So yeah, and what I feel the reason for it is, of course, it's probably my tricky mind, just using all the gene keys knowledge it can muster to get me off the hook and keep me distracted. But that's why I'm talking about it now here, to see how it feels talking about it. So what I feel or what I think or is that I've just gone through many transformations through the Delta, which I also chronicled in another series of videos there. But one of the big epiphanies I had is that I lost my bliss and my center trying suddenly or whatever. First, when I realized what I was experiencing, I was like rushing to share it with people and bring it out into the world so that more people can experience it. But then I lost myself in it. I was doing too much, rushing around. I wasn't feeling bliss anymore. I was starting to undersleep, not taking care of myself. So then I realized that in the last couple of weeks, like, wait a minute, I got it all wrong. Like, no. Staying in the bliss and in my center is the most important thing. And then out of the well nourished, well cared for, well supported and rested state, can I only then share. And I can't really share and inspire people to it if I'm not in it myself, right? Like, so it was the whole thing of it just was so clear. So I stepped right back from all the trying and dropped out of a lot of things I was doing to try to get the message out there. So how I think it connects now with the gaming for me is that it's like the next trial, even though it is the distraction gene key is in my core wound, and it is the ring of trials, and feels like a distraction on the surface. I'm distracting myself from doing purposeful work or contemplating or being in stillness with a rather mindless gaming activity. But it feels like it serves the purpose of facing and releasing self-judgment. Because there's still this undertones of having to serve the world to be of value. Or the bliss is only here if it's stillness, meditation, and always high spiritual experiences. And there's a judgment around enjoyment of something that the mind judges as not spiritual or good enough, or as a distraction, or as a bad thing. That's what I'm trying to sit with and unravel. Is it really a bad thing? And I'm seeing it and I'm doing it anyway. And it's my invitation to lift up to the gift frequency, which with this gene key specifically, it goes from distraction with the gift of enrichment to the city of intoxication. Or is it just like, again, I mentioned in the gene key 5, where it's really none of the states are bad in and of themselves, and we need to kind of embrace and all the entire spectrum of consciousness. Is it that it's a distraction? The first, yes, for me to see my self-judgment around it and around myself, how I judge myself, and work through that, like see it, drop it, or embrace it. Do you embrace self-judgment, or is it something that I'm supposed to realize and drop, like stop judging myself? One, and secondly, perhaps it's a necessary distraction. Like perhaps I was transforming so rapidly, externally and internally, doing quite a lot more work than I normally do, adjusting to a completely new way of living, rest first, contemplation first kind of living. Rather than previously, I was always driven by my open route. There was work to do, like, gotta do the work first before I can relax. But then, if I want to be doing more work in the world and be a bigger impact, obviously the work will never end. So I gotta drop and completely restructure that way of living, the open route driven way of living. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Allowing the distraction as possibly serving two purposes. One, precisely that. This is a necessary kind of thing for me to disconnect from the stuff that's going on through me, around me, and escape into a fantasy world where I can just follow along some interesting storylines that are not my storylines, or immerse myself in storylines. And then secondly, keep looking at that self-judgment. Keep looking at that self-judgment. That I'm not worthy of being in the world playing computer games. I'm only worthy of being in the world if I'm doing purpose-driven work and saving the world itself. And it's also specifically in that gene key of 56, which is my core wound invocation, that it says that the last addiction will have to get. So for me, that's an addiction. I always said, gaming is the one addiction I'm powerless against. But in the gene key 56, it says the last addiction will need to give up. It's the addiction to saving other people. And even though on the surface I seem to be in a gaming addiction, what I feel like I'm struggling with right now is this addiction to saving other people. Yes, I'm gaming, but I'm judging myself because I feel like I should be saving other people instead with my work, or the knowledge, or the genius, or whatever you have. Yes, whenever I think about it, okay, I'm just gonna completely allow myself to game. What if I just game for the rest of my life? Would I still be worthy of existence? Would it still be, would I still deserve enjoying this beautiful life? And it's definitely like it's an almost a visceral knee-jerk reaction of no, no, you know, it's the old paradigm, it's matrix, and it's distraction. No, you can't live like this. And I think that this is what I need to transmute. Gaming is just there for me to see this stuff that is coming out. I don't even know if there's anything more to say. I've said it, I've expressed how I feel about it to see if I feel any kind of mind trickery or whether it rings true. And honestly, it rings true. It does ring true, like this is it. This is what the next ring of trials. The trial isn't about that it's being distracted from doing purpose driven work. The trial is in realizing how much self judgment and rules about what should and should not be I still carry around in myself. And until all that is let go, there is no, I firmly believe there is no freedom. Life isn't free to. Because yeah, the main idea of one of the main ideas of the Jinkies is to so completely relax in your life, relax all the judgments, relax all the conditioning and things we carry around in our heads, that the consciousness is free to express itself through me in whichever way it deems necessary. And and this is what I'm feeling extreme restriction and encasement, kind of like still like these are all the things that are right, and then these are all the things that are wrong, and until I am able to let go of that, consciousness is free to express myself itself. Yes, the next question is how do I, now that I see, how do I get rid of it? Allow, accept, embrace is the Jinki approach. I'm allowing it. There's a lot of self-judgment. There's a lot of belief around what is right and what is wrong to be and do in the world. Accept. And then embrace. But is it embrace the self-judgment or is it embrace the behavior and not stop judging? If I embrace the self-judgment, it doesn't feel good. It almost feels like, well, I'm just gonna then keep self-judging forever, and then it's not really allowing me that freedom of complete self-expression and being comfortable in the world. And the other option is to embrace, allow, accept, and embrace the behavior that I'm self-judging myself for, which is the current behavior is of distraction, distracting myself with the video game. Allow, accept, and embrace. And come to think of it, I mean, that's how it always fizzled out in the past. I told myself there's no point resisting, just go all out. in the past I would even do like 14-hour, non-stop nights of gaming and stuff. I'm too old for this now, but it would fizzle out rather quickly, in fact. So that even before I knew anything about the jinkies or how to move in the world through things that are coming up, I guess I already intuitively deployed the allow, accept, and embrace attitude. And that feels light. This feels right. Just allow it. It's a necessary thing. It doesn't last forever. It's maybe we're heading into Christmas, and it's been one of probably not the most intense year of my life. Of course, some part of me wants to just disconnect and explore a virtual world, saving slaves, and in the shape of a running around as a cat woman. Allow any expression. Consciousness feels like expressing itself through me as a cat woman in the virtual world at the moment. Allow that. Stop judging. Stop shaming. Stop feeling guilty for not doing purpose-driven work and being a cat woman in the virtual world instead. This is good. I think that this experiment was an overwhelming success. I have gotten my answers. I am still yet to embody it, but at least on an intellectual level, I definitely feel like this is it. Allow, accept, and embrace the behavior, not the self-judgment of it. Allow, accept, and embrace the distraction. That's one of the ways I've seen myself really deepen into the Jinkies work. It's my attractor, which is 1.1. As the first shadow, but that one was easy because Richard says specifically so, like the shadow of entropy is like there's nothing for you to do about it. You just like enjoy. While you're in the entropy, just rest, enjoy, stay in the hammock. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. Okay, so it's not a shadow that I need to do something about. I just gotta enjoy it. And then gave me a taste of what it means to accept, allow, accept, and embrace all the shadows and open to the entire spectrum of consciousness. And so I've been tracking my progress through the Jinkies by the number of other shadows that pop, and I allow, accept, and embrace. Like I said in the video I made just now on the Jinky 5 was probably, the second or third shadow where I'm like, oh my God, the shadow is the goodness. And here I've just brought myself to allow, accept, and embrace the shadow of my core wound, distraction. Which is also incidentally my vacations, even though I am going to speak of bliss, which is the jinky that is not on my profile. The jinky of intoxication is, and it is my vacation, something I'm meant to do as a means of making a living. But obviously, come and get intoxicated with me. Doesn't sound. And then people tell me bliss is hard enough to understand. What is it like? It's so personal. Define it. Intoxication would be even more so harder to explain. But it's kind of all the same sense. It's this kind of living. Alright. Intoxication through distraction. Kind of wish we should do this. Says you're distracting yourself too much with that device of yours. Give me attention. Give me intoxication. Yeah. Alright, well, thank you very much for being there for me to do my Nando projector processing. And stay tuned for more processing. I will start branching out and sharing more ideas outside of the Jinky transits. The Jinky transits were good because they give a little bit of a structure. Otherwise, if I just leave it up to my own devices, I probably just zone out and stop doing things like this. It's like, oh, the transit, gotta do the transit. And as I did the transit, then I'm like, wait a minute, well, I gotta speak about something else as well. But yes, I do want to start speaking more about other things that I'm either processing or as I'm bringing into form a body of work that is all around bliss. But now it's a secret. You also know that it's in fact an intoxication. We're just not calling it that. All right. See you in the next video.